Welcome back to logisticsABC, where we make the complex world of logistics simpler, smarter, and more sustainable. In today's video, we're diving into one of the biggest strategic transformations facing the global economy: how to build a zero-emission supply chain. It's no longer just about moving goods from A to B. Today, supply chains are under pressure to eliminate carbon, embrace innovation, and deliver sustainability without compromising efficiency. So, how do we get there? Let's unpack it step by step. The global freight system accounts for nearly 10% of global greenhouse gas emissions, and that number could double by 2050 without major changes. From diesel trucks to kerosene-burning planes and bunker-fueled ships, nearly every link in the chain still depends on fossil fuels. But here's the critical point. Supply chains are not just sources of emissions, they are also levers of transformation. Companies that decarbonize early can reduce risks, cut costs, meet regulatory targets, and win customer trust. The shift to zero-emission logistics is no longer optional. It's a business imperative. Major players are already leading the way. DHL is investing €7 billion in sustainable fuels and carbon-neutral buildings by 2030. Amazon has ordered over 100,000 electric delivery vans and is piloting solar-powered fulfillment centers. Maersk is deploying carbon-neutral methanol ships to decarbonize ocean freight. These actions signal that zero-emission logistics is not just a vision. It's a competitive advantage being realized today. Building a zero-emission supply chain doesn't mean swapping one truck for another. It requires rethinking the entire system. That starts with visibility. Companies need full transparency on their logistics emissions, across every mode of transport, every supplier, and every facility. That means measuring emissions accurately, not just from your own operations, but from third-party carriers, warehouses, ports, and beyond. Tools like the GLEC framework and Scope 3 accounting models are critical to identify where the emissions come from and where they can be reduced. In addition to these frameworks, companies are increasingly adopting digital carbon tracking platforms like Scope 3 and EmitWise, integrating IoT-based emissions sensors and leveraging ERP systems with built-in sustainability modules. These tools provide real-time data across the supply chain, helping identify hotspots and prioritize mitigation. Only when you understand the emissions baseline can you start to design a pathway to zero. One of the most powerful levers for decarbonization is modal shift. Different transport modes have vastly different carbon footprints. Moving goods by truck produces significantly more CO2 per ton kilometer than by train or ship, so the first step is optimizing how freight moves. That means shifting long-distance cargo from road to electrified rail, from short-haul air to sea freight, and combining modes through intermodal strategies. But it's not just about changing vehicles. It's about redesigning logistics flows to reduce distances, maximize loads, and eliminate inefficiencies. The feasibility of modal shift varies widely by region. In Europe, dense rail networks and harmonized cross-border infrastructure make it more practical to move freight by train. In contrast, the U.S. has a more truck-dominated freight system, and long-haul rail for cargo often lacks last-mile flexibility. Asia, meanwhile, sees rapid growth in rail and sea connectivity under initiatives like China's Belt and Road. Smart routing algorithms, warehouse location strategy, and better demand forecasting can dramatically reduce empty runs and unnecessary shipments. These aren't just green strategies. They're operational ones, too. Technology is what makes a zero-emission supply chain possible. Electrification is already reshaping road freight, with battery electric trucks rapidly scaling in urban delivery and regional haulage. Heavy-duty electric trucks, capable of 300 to 500 kilometers per charge, are now viable options in Europe, China, and parts of North America. For longer distances, hydrogen fuel cell trucks are entering the market with quick refueling and longer ranges. But it's not just trucks. Trains powered by electricity, ships fueled with green methanol or ammonia, and sustainable aviation fuels are emerging across all transport modes. Electricity alone won't solve it all, which is why sustainable fuels, from HVO biodiesel to e-fuels, are critical, especially for aviation and maritime. Hybrid powertrains, regenerative braking, and energy-efficient drivetrains will all play a role in bridging the gap. Even the most advanced vehicles can't run without the right infrastructure. That's why charging stations, hydrogen refueling networks, shore power for ports, and smart grid integration are essential pillars of decarbonized logistics. In Europe, charging corridors for electric trucks are expanding rapidly. Ports in Asia and North America are investing in electrified cargo handling and clean bunkering options. Airports are preparing to scale up sustainable fuel blending. For example, the Port of Los Angeles has launched a green hydrogen hub pilot, while the Port of Rotterdam is integrating onshore power and ammonia bunkering systems. Meanwhile, Sweden's e-Charge project is deploying electric road systems to power trucks directly while driving. At the heart of all this lies clean energy. Zero-emission logistics requires not just electricity, but low-carbon electricity. Without decarbonizing the grid, electrification is only a partial solution. Companies are starting to co-locate solar panels at warehouses, invest in energy storage, and enter into renewable power agreements to power their logistics assets. None of this happens in a vacuum. Governments play a vital role in enabling zero-emission logistics through emission standards, fuel mandates, carbon pricing, and infrastructure investment. The EU's Green Deal, the US Inflation Reduction Act, and China's new energy vehicle policies are driving rapid change. But public policy alone isn't enough. What's needed is a new kind of partnership between shippers, carriers, technology providers, governments, and energy suppliers. Green corridors, end-to-end trade routes with clean vehicles, renewable power, and digital coordination are already being piloted from Shanghai to Los Angeles and from Rotterdam to Singapore. These alliances show what's possible when every actor aligns. Zero emissions isn't only about fuel. It's also about materials, waste, and life cycle thinking. Circular supply chains aim to eliminate not just emissions, but excess itself. That means designing products for durability, reuse, and recycling. It means building reverse logistics networks that collect and recirculate goods and materials. And it means treating logistics not as a linear path, but as a regenerative cycle. Circularity reduces the volume of goods that need to be moved, increases resource efficiency, and aligns emissions reduction with sustainable value creation. Just as importantly, circularity can strengthen supply chain resilience by reducing dependency on raw material inputs and creating closed-loop systems that are more adaptable in the face of disruption. The journey to a zero-emission supply chain won't be easy. It will take investment, innovation, collaboration, and time. But it is possible, and it's already happening. From AI-driven freight optimization to green fuels, from digital twins to decentralized energy, the building blocks are already in place. What's needed now is scale, speed, and systems thinking. As consumers demand more transparency, as regulators demand compliance, and as the planet demands urgency, the supply chains that thrive will be the ones that evolve. Thanks for watching today's video. I hope you found it helpful and insightful. If you enjoyed it, hit the like button and subscribe to logisticsABC. Turn on notifications so you never miss out on future videos. Check out the recommended videos here for more great content. Thanks for being part of the logisticsABC community, and see you in the next video.